Hello, I'm Gothra Kaiju. So you're probably wondering, why can I see your face? And to that, I can say, I felt like I kind of owed it to you to show you what I kind of looked like if you were curious, you know? Well, hello. I'm here now. The reason I'm filming this is because it's about 2 a.m. And the reason that's important is because it's the new year. Happy New Year. And since it's a new year, I thought I could impart some of my knowledge onto you. The normal thing that most VTubers and just content creators do, I guess, because I'm one of those. I'm a content creator. Here's my wisdom. I guess we should probably start at the beginning of my streaming career. Some of you may know that before I was a VTuber, I streamed. I streamed for around 6 months. I would say around the 5-month period of my IRL streaming, I hit Twitch affiliate. After that, I averaged around 1 or 2 views. And to say that was a bit disheartening is an understatement. Imagine streaming almost every day for 6 months and getting almost nothing out of it. Like I had a community, I had some people, but I messed up a lot with streaming. I let my chat overrun me. I put up with abuse. I put up with bad mods. I didn't really keep myself that secure. I did a lot of the beginning stream mistakes. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I messed up a lot. I couldn't keep doing it. It was painful. It was a lot of work. What I did get out of it though was I learned how to be pro entertainer. Bruh. Focus. Yeah, so I was giving up on streaming for a bit until Apolly, the love of my life, showed me a wonderful group of girls called Vtuber. My whole life opened up. My eyes broadened, my horizon was endless, and I was ready to go on a brand new journey. I was still streaming in my IRL channel, but on my free time, I was working on a new project. I was learning Vroid, and I was also drawing my entire layout, planning my debut, planning everything down to the T. And I debuted, and oh my god, nothing changed. Nothing changed. The problem was that I was still really insecure. I was so insecure that I felt that I could not be myself or anything close to myself while using a model. Nobody liked me before when I streamed, so why not completely change that and just not be myself? Spoiler alert, that doesn't work out. For those of you who do know, I used to be a cat girl named Fish,
who primarily used to talk like this. So for around 4 to 5 months, I only talk to people and stream like this.
Due to that, I could only speak 1 to 2 hours at a time, which means I could only stream 1 to 2 hours at a time. And if you know anything about Twitch, you don't really do well unless you stream 5 to 8 hours a day. It took 5 months of losing my voice, streaming as much as I could, learning how to draw anime, how to make emotes, learning how to make layouts, learning models, learning everything about VTubing. It was a lot of work that at the time I was worried was never gonna pay off. I also didn't know any other VTubers at the time, so I was pretty much in the dark. What do VTubers really do? The only thing I'd really seen was 1 or 2 streams from Neanners and Silvervale and Zen and everyone from Vshoujo. I watched a couple streams of Gothra. Like, I didn't really know what the VTubing culture was. And I walked in blind. This whole time while streaming, I had always thought, if I'm suffering, then that means I'm working hard. Which is not true. Don't do that to yourself, please. Sure, working hard does have consequences. Working really hard on something you love can be a detriment to some things, such as relationships, or sometimes even mental and physical health. But it shouldn't. You don't need to do that to be successful. You can take care of yourself and be okay. That was what I used to have a problem with. I would put in a ton of work, a ton of effort, and basically had nothing to show for that. I had the model, I had the layout, I had the voice, I had everything. I just didn't have a personality. It was all masked by a character that I thought I should play. And that character wasn't really me. So what I did was 5 months in, I did a voice reveal stream. And that was probably one of the smartest things I've done in my streaming career, is be honest. For about a month and a half prior to that, I was freaking out. I had just started posting on TikTok, and someone in the comments said, look, another uwu girl. I had no clue what that was. So I looked it up and I realized that there was a big stereotype of people using that voice to manipulate people into giving them money or attention. And that was not what I was trying to do at all. I was just so desperate for people to not know who I was that I was willing to destroy my voice to do it. After that comment though, I got really self-conscious and I really wanted to stop. That month and a half of streaming with that voice was really hard. Building up the courage to go on stream every day felt like I was going in and I was lying to the people who watched me. It didn't feel right. Around that time too, Snuffy did her voice reveal. That gave me so much strength and courage to be myself. You don't understand how many times I watched her stream just to build up enough courage to tell people that I don't sound like that. The first people I went to were the other people in Famdua, the people who I played D&D with, and who I would say are my closest VTubing and just general friends. At the time, we weren't very close, and I was terrified. I thought that they would think that I was a liar and be upset and hate me and not want to be my friend at all. Although I probably should have known that they didn't, because, you know, D&D and like everyone's playing a character, but whatever. I'm an idiot, okay? Well, I told them and they gave me so much love and acceptance, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna admit to this on stream. I'm terrified, and they all had my back. They showed up and they stayed that entire stream supporting me, being some of the greatest friends that I have ever had. I've never felt so accepted. That was the day that I think I fully realized how kind and caring and supportive everyone in the VTubing community was. And since then, I've really enjoyed streaming. And with that, other people have enjoyed watching me stream. With my new voice, I had a new model which reflected more of how I feel and what my vibe generally is. I had a great time with that for a bit, but I was still struggling a lot. Something still felt not right. As much as I love cats and being a cat girl, it was really overdone and it didn't feel unique to me. So when I was visiting a Polly's house late at night, I would look through a bunch of subcultures, a bunch of things, a bunch of items, a bunch of animals, trying to figure out what hasn't been done in the VTubing community. I thought about being an owl, and then I thought about being a Furby, and then I thought about being an actual gremlin. I also thought about being one of those little stringy worm thingies. I thought about pretty much every obscure thing that I could be as a VTuber, and none of them clicked. I sat down and I was like, what are some of my favorite animals? I went through seal, because and owls, because owls are pretty cool and they got big old eyes, and I thought that could be a really cool design. It just still felt very normal. And then I thought, hey, what about insects? There's not many insect VTubers. And then I was like, what insects do I like? And I've always had an addiction to moths. They are adorable and I love them, even though everyone's like they're disgusting and I hate them. I fucking love moths, dude. I love them. And then I remembered Juniper, and I was like, oh shit, fuck, that's gone. Not that I couldn't be a moth, but I was just like, been done. Can't do that. What else is there? And I was like, there's Mothra. And I was like, I can't just be Mothra. Like, I'm gonna get fucking bonked for that. I was like, how can I mix together two characters? And in that way, Chris Chan and I are very similar. That was a sentence I never thought I would say. I promise I am not going to bang my mom. Is that too soon? I feel like that might be too soon. I slammed together to the kaijus, and I became Gothra kaiju, and that was a pretty sick idea on my half, I must say. And with Gothra, I was like, I want a 2D model, and my ass learned live 2D in the 30-day trial. I would also like to note that I spent most of that trial period, about like 20 days, panicking about not knowing how to use live 2D. So I made my first model in about a week. And I made a pretty decent model. I mean, it's kind of bad. It's really bad. It's pretty good for someone who doesn't know how to use live 2D and or draw anime. So I'm pretty proud of it. And after that came iteration after iteration of Gothra. And now I'm here, you know? All of that was probably really boring. It was a bit of backstory. I'm sure I'll edit it. It'll be short or whatever. I know it was boring. I'm sorry. So I'm here to tell you what I've learned since I was IRL streaming to now. When I started, I thought, you know, Twitch is based off of algorithms and people like certain things and people like watching certain things. So if I just do that, then people will watch me, right? If I can just act like I do these things normally, then people will just watch me, right? No. It's not how that works. Sure, it helps to learn how to talk to camera, how to talk to chat, be able to talk by yourself. That kind of stuff is very useful in general for Twitch, because that's what most of Twitch is, unless you're actually like crazy pro gamer. I just kept holding myself back for some reason. I was like, I can't be me, people will hate me, lol. What the fuck did I just open? What the fuck? Good evening. I opened Microsoft off it. What the fuck? Microsoft, more like Microhard. This video's been great. So I guess here I'm just gonna give you a couple things that I feel like VTubers in general should know. If you want to start VTubing, things to think about, just general shit. I'm gonna look at this video like you're interested in streaming and VTubing and you want to know, hey Gothra, how did you get to 1.1k? And that's right, I'm at 1.1k. Isn't that crazy? I started streaming and I got up to 500 and then I fucked up and I lost all my followers after I got bot rated. And then I got back up to 500 and then I went up to 1,000. Excuse me? Oh, not to mention I went up to 500 within a week, or was it like a week and a half? I don't know. It felt like I went back to 500 in a week. It was crazy. I had a bunch of VTubing friends help me, support me, get the word out. It was crazy. Well, anyway, if there's one thing I can say to anybody looking into VTubing, looking into streaming, looking into anything really, Google is a valuable resource. Please use it. Like, I know how easy it is to say, hey, my friend knows how to do this, let me ask them. But the thing is, for me personally, I love helping people, but I refuse to help people who refuse to help themselves. Do you know what's understandable? Coming to me and asking about modeling stuff, asking about Vroid, asking about live 2D, not knowing what the fuck's going on, asking about general streaming advice, like that shit's okay. You ask me, how do I add an emote? When you're on the page, it tells you how. And if you don't know how, there's like a billion links on Google to tell you how. I don't mean for this to be a direct insult to anyone in particular. And if you have come to me before and been like, hey Gothra, can you teach me how to add an emote? I don't mean you. There's been several people, okay? And this isn't just about emotes. It's about like anything, really. I would just like to note that I did not mean for that to sound that harsh. It's just on top of making everything for myself still, I'm also making stream assets and models for other people as well. So I don't have much free time. And I don't have the time to spend 10 minutes explaining something you could watch a YouTube video on. Just look it up on Google, please. Another thing that I've learned through streaming is how easy it is to rely on other people to help you get content, especially when you're not used to or don't have a chat to read. Ever since I was small baby Gothra, I have been filming myself in front of a camera, talking, imagining I'm a host of a game show, or I'm teaching you the lyrics to Sound of Music. I don't fucking know. The normal baby things, you know? Even I, who's been doing this my entire life, gets lost in the sauce as well. There are many times where I sit there going, oh fuck, what do I talk about? I don't leave my room. I have nothing new to talk about. I literally sit here all day and watch anime and draw and stream. I don't know what to talk about. But again, there's Google. There's a lot of videos. There's a lot of websites to tell you things to talk about. And if you don't want to talk about anything, play a game and talk about what's in the game. But to talk more about what I meant to talk about, it's so easy to ask a bunch of people to come on your stream and go, haha, let's hang out and laugh together and have a great time and play games. And that's great. Collabing with people, hanging out with friends is a great thing, especially if that's what you do a lot and you want to share the conversations that you have with friends. Like, that's great. But if you want to be better at streaming, better at talking, you really have to have a lot of time where you are stuck being the main focus. You are the person that people are listening to. You are the voice in their ears, the God amongst men. You. It's you. It's lovely, wonderful you. To be honest, to this day, I still have anxiety about it. I still struggle a lot on stream of being comfortable in front of a bunch of people. A lot of the times I'll stutter or I'll mess up words, and yeah, it's embarrassing, but usually I laugh it off, call myself dumb, and I move on, you know. I also know how hard it is to keep up motivation after messing up. And that's another thing that I learned, is things are gonna go wrong. Things are gonna go very wrong. The first time I learned that was back when I was IRL streaming. I did my first 24 hours at 22 and a half hours in. I played Totally Accurate Battleground Simulator, and after closing that, I alt-tabbed and I hit the X button on what I thought was the Ultimate Battleground Simulator, but was actually my Streamlabs. And it didn't pop up the thing that usually pops up that says, hey, you know, do you really want to stop streaming? Yes or no? and that just didn't pop up, and it stopped. I didn't make it fully to the 24 hour, and I cried for a couple hours and then passed out. And throughout that entire time as well, I was letting chat completely overrun me. I was looking too much into chat, trying to figure out what they wanted from me, and not enough of giving myself to them. But after VTubing, that's all I could do. That's also kind of another thing though that I will say with some VTubers, is that having a cool model is great and it brings in a decent amount of views, but they're not gonna stick around if there's not anything to stick around for. Like I was saying before, I was putting in the hours, I was doing everything that streamers should do, I was being entertaining, I was making clippable moments, I was doing everything pretty much right, but I wasn't doing things the way that I would do them. And that's why nobody stuck around to see. If they wanted to see a cat girl be funny and have clippable moments, they would go to Nyanners. Like, why would they go to me? I was doing nothing different than any other entertainer. That's a bit of a problem. And like, you might be saying, hey, but they do it. They get away with it. But it's because that's what they do. They were the first people to do that. Like, for example, PewDiePie, right? Now we look at PewDiePie and we're like, okay, he's playing games and talking over it. Everybody does that. But back then, he was the only one that did that, really. And the only one that was, like, entertaining and good at doing that. So we all watched him. After that, people had to figure out how to be slightly different. My idea of different was, allowing myself to be unhinged. And it's been great. It's been wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for letting me be unhinged. Yeah, well, anyway, this is a really long video to say, hi, this is kind of what I look like. Be yourself on stream. If you guys have any questions about VTubing, model making, ask Google. And then ask me if you really can't figure it out. Don't be stupid. Don't work yourself to death. Do the things that you like. If you really want to stream, then you will stream. If you really want to do art, then you will do art. Don't force yourself to do things because you think it will make you money or give you fame, you know, blah blah blah, the things that everybody says. But like it's serious. It works. From somebody who saw those videos and was like, yeah, well, that's cool and all, but they don't understand the algorithm. They don't know what people want. Yeah, you're wrong. Just as wrong as I was. I'm not ashamed to admit that. Anyway, I'm going to go back to my anime form now. I hope that you guys have a great rest of 2022. This year, I'm going to try to hopefully stream 3 days a week for around 5 to 8 hours. Hopefully. I really hope that this year I can get partnered with Twitch. If you have any other questions about VTubing, about my experience, anything else, any other weird insider details you want to know about, put them in the comments and I'll answer them. Please don't bully me. Please don't bully me. I'm being very vulnerable right now, okay? And that's not something that I like to do. So don't bully me or else I'll be angry and cry. I hope that all of the food you eat tastes amazing, all of your dreams are entertaining, and you have a great rest of the time that you're awake. I love you guys so much. I can't wait to see what we do this year.